Welcome to Rise and Shine. I'm Sami Hoffman.
And I'm Sunni Civikumar. Today, we are showcasing the Covering Carolina special by CW's Christian Phillips.
Christian has been traveling throughout North Carolina, finding the best restaurants, landmarks, and attractions of the state. Christian, what's this experience been like?
It's been absolutely incredible getting to travel this great state, seeing all these incredible places. Everybody has a story to tell, and to be able to tell it has been a great experience.
And we're so glad that we're able to air these stories that you've been telling all semester. Without further ado, the Covering Carolina special starts now.
For people all over the country, North Carolina is known by multiple names, from the Old North State to the Tar Heel State. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of Covering Carolina. I'm Christian Phillips. Today, we explore a variety of unique landmarks, stories, and restaurants throughout North Carolina. We'll start out west in the mountains, then head to the Crystal Coast. Along the way, you'll meet many great people, find some tasty food, and see many of the attractions that put our state on the map. A state that we know as home. Well, let's start with a trip back to the 1930s, trekking to Beech Mountain, just west of Boone, shy of the border with Tennessee. That's where we find the Land of Oz. The park was opened as a way to increase year-round tourism to the area in 1970, but it didn't last. The park closed in 1980 and is now only open twice a year, in June and September, for special events.
We're not in Kansas anymore. As a matter of fact, we're on the border of North Carolina and Tennessee, here at Land of Oz, celebrating autumn in Oz.
The park features many famous scenes, including Dorothy's house, barn, and even her meeting with the charlatan Professor Marvel.
How did you guess?
Professor Marvel never guesses, he knows.
And welcome to Oz. A short walk through the house and simulated tornado will bring you to the Yellow Brick Road. You can watch shows performed by all the characters and even get to meet them as well. But beware, some areas may be off limits.
Halt! Are you here to see the Wicked Witch in the West?
Just make sure you don't have any water and you should be fine.
You cursed brat! Look what you've done! I'm melting! Melting!
It's not just the guests that enjoy being here. The cast members say they do too.
It is the most fun of anything I've ever done. I come an hour and a half from Ashe County, which is West Jefferson, North Carolina, all the way to the tip top of Beech Mountain.
Oh, it's awesome. It's my favorite job I've ever had. Meeting new people every day, creating experiences alongside the guest. It's the best opportunity I've ever been given, and I try and never take it for granted.
Land of Oz opened in 1970, but then closed 10 years later. Nowadays, it's only open for 3 weekends a year, hence Autumn at Oz. And there are certainly plenty of people coming to visit.
Altogether, it's 24,000. We completely sold out, so we were very surprised but very excited. Whether you're at Land of Oz for courage, a heart, a brain, a way back to Kansas, or just a good time, Autumn at Oz is certainly the place to be. Reporting for Carolina Week, I'm Christian Phillips.
Well, moving east, just outside of Mount Airy, rising out of the hills is what the Saponi and Tutelo Indians called Jomioke, which translates to Great Guide or Pilot, hence the name of our next stop, Pilot Mountain.
It's a state park located less than 2 hours from Chapel Hill, 30 minutes outside of Winston-Salem, and only a few miles away from Andy Griffith's childhood home in Mount Airy, North Carolina. This is Pilot Mountain State Park.
Service will smile. You want folks to smile at you, talk about Pilot. They love you over there.
Pilot Mountain State Park was established in 1968 after the state of North Carolina purchased the land to protect it from becoming developed. Since then, the mountain has become a popular tourist attraction, offering all kinds of activities. What makes it especially unique is the mountain's exposed dome, caused by millions of years of erosion.
Yeah, Pilot Mountain has a little bit for everybody. It's kind of known as a hiker's park.
There are plenty of miles of trails throughout the park, though for those not interested in hiking, there are options.
We have a 42-site campground as well in the park. And what a lot of people don't know is we also have a river access on the south side of the park.
And for people who are fans of hiking,
beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We did 3 miles total from bottom up.
Pilot Mountain is uniquely not part of the nearby Appalachians.
The Pilot Mountain is part of the Sartown mountain chain, which is basically Hanging Rock to the east and then Pilot Mountain to the west. So there are a series of what geologists call monadnocks, which are isolated mountains surrounded by plains. That's why there's not mountains all around us like when you go like out west to Asheville.
If you're thinking of coming to Pilot Mountain sometime soon, you are not alone. Try to come on a weekday if possible, as right now, during peak season, the parking lot is closed at the summit, and you can wait up to 2 hours for the shuttle.
If you find yourself in Chapel Hill this fall looking for a great place to hike with even better views, then you ought to try Pilot Mountain State Park. Reporting from Surrey County for Carolina Week, I'm Christian Phillips.
Well, let's head south now to Winston-Salem. There stands a bakery built in 1799, and it was officially established in 1807 as part of the Old Salem community. And get this, it's still open today. Kelly Kendall joined me as we visited the Winkler Bakery.
Just a few feet away from downtown Winston-Salem, you can step back in time in Old Salem.
You wouldn't believe it, but right here is one of the best bakeries in all of North Carolina. We took a visit to Winkler Bakery today, and we're going to bring you here too.
Originally built in 1799 and founded by Christian Winkler in 1807, the bakery is still selling Moravian sugar cakes and other customer favorites over 200 years later. And back in the day, the bakery had a crucial role to play in Old Salem. Sister Deborah has been helping run the bakery for the past 15 years.
Bread was the mainstay of life. Bread is what kept people in this world from starving at that time. It was harder to come by food than it is now. So the bakery was a busy part of town, and it kept people sustained. They were responsible here for baking enough bread for the entire community.
And they needed an oven capable of handling such work.
So behind me is the Beehive brick oven. It is the largest oven in Salem. It's 9 feet deep, 7 feet wide, 2 feet in the dome. And they would have come down about 3 in the morning, built a huge fire, burned it all the way to ashes, cleaned out the ashes, and you actually are baking from the heat from the bricks.
And while the baked goods are the main attraction, Sister Deborah enjoys being here for another reason.
I want to keep it alive in people's hearts and in their minds. Children coming in, you can plant a seed, even adults, and they'll go back and look it up, or they will have a memory that will last their lifetime. And at the end of the day, the time you spend and the memories you share is worth everything.
Reporting from Winkler Bakery in Old Salem, I'm Christian Phillips.
And I'm Kelly Kendall, and this is Carolina Week. Cheers.
Cheers. Well, thank you again to Sister Deborah for such a great time and her hospitality at the Winkler Bakery. And thank you as well to Kelly Kendall for joining me in Winston-Salem. Still to come, we visit a legendary stand at the North Carolina State Fair. And later, we examine both sides of our state's great barbecue debate. We're just getting started. Lots still to come. Stay with us. Well, welcome back to this Covering Carolina special. Pittsburgh's Main Street has changed a lot since the late 90s. But through it all, one business has remained a constant part of the community. Opening in 1997, S&T's Soda Shop has been feeding hungry customers in their 40s-style restaurant ever since. Samantha Hoffman and Sarah Choi joined me for this story.
We're in the heart of Pittsburgh, North Carolina, here at S&T's Soda Shop.
Come with us as we take a step back to the 1940s.
S&T's Soda Shop opened in 1997 and has been serving customers a wide variety of delicious food since, all within the backdrop of their 1940s-style restaurant. They are famous for their ice cream and food, especially their steaks or lasagna. And at the heart of it all is Vicki Oldham. She started the restaurant with her husband, Gene. And family has always been at the heart of the restaurant. S&T's is in fact named after their couple's sons, Steve and TJ. Gene passed away in 2020, and the family continues to run the store in his memory.
It's so important to me because they're doing what their dad wanted. And we all put so much in it that we were young. I'm so sorry. But to see them want to be here, I said, we don't have to do this. It's okay. We don't have to do this. And they said they wanted to. And they want to do it as long as they can. So to see them carry on makes me so proud.
And her sons love working with her too.
So I started working here when I was 10 years old. My dad opened it in '97 and about to be 37 this month. So 27 years I've been working here, and I am truly blessed to be able to work with my mom. She's very hardworking, compassionate. She really loves this town.
And it's the sense of family and nice people that keep customers coming back.
Well, the food's good. The atmosphere is wonderful. The people, I mean, these are the nicest people in the world, you know?
And why set the restaurant to a 1940s theme?
I don't know. I think the 50s was so much diner, black and white, and there was more romance during the 40s era. Even the jukebox downstairs is a 1941 Wurlitzer.
The restaurant is the perfect place for Chapel Hill students and residents to get out and step back into a time seemingly forgotten elsewhere in this modern age, but certainly not at SMT's. It's a tradition North Carolinians look forward to every year. The North Carolina State Fair is a 10-day-long celebration of everything that's great about our state, from the amusement rides to the multiple shows daily throughout the fairgrounds that showcase our state's great culture. One stand has been a fixture of the fair since 1949. They say the more things change, the more they stay the same. The North Carolina State Fair has changed a lot since its inaugural year in 1853. One thing that's been a constant, though, the family running the food stand under the iconic yellow and white tent. It's Charlie Barefoot and Sons, and there's no need for blinking lights or loud music to draw customers under their tent. The smells, their reputation, and of course, the food does that just fine.
You ever come here before?
All the time. This is my first stop.
Well, I had a hot dog, but I already inhaled it.
Charlie Barefoot started his food stand back in 1949 as a way to supplement his income as a farmer to support his growing family. Billy Barefoot, Charles's youngest of 3 sons, now runs the stand. He's worked here since he was 10. It's easy for him to talk about, well, just about anything when it comes to the stand.
Customers that come here just for the Italians, and we have customers that come for just the Philly cheesesteaks. But most of all is the hot dogs.
The one thing he struggles to talk about, one of Billy's brothers passed away in 1997. His other brother just retired last year.
So it's different for me this year because I'm here by myself. We've always had each other's crutch, you know, and this year I don't have a crutch.
What makes it a little easier, he's doing exactly what his father did, bringing in his children to work the stand.
I've been doing it for about 23 years.
And I've been doing about 15.
And, like many at the fair,
favorite food?
Hot dog.
Hot dog.
The State Fair's motto has traditionally been, nothing can be finer. And that's certainly true under the yellow and white striped tent of Charlie Barefoot and Sons. Well, moving north to the border with Virginia, that's where we find one of North Carolina's most popular state parks. It's the perfect place for camping, swimming, boating, and a whole lot more. Of course, we're talking about Carr Lake.
It's one of the largest reservoirs in the southeastern United States, and located just over an hour outside of Chapel Hill. It's the perfect getaway for those looking to get out of town just for the day.
Welcome to Carr Lake, and boy is it big.
It's about 850 miles of shoreline if you count all the way around the lake.
And it's not just in our state.
Well, the lake is in both North Carolina and Virginia.
And the Virginians have a different name for it.
In Virginia, theoretically it's Carr Lake, but they like to call it Bugs Island. I'm given to understand that the folks in Virginia were not happy with the fact that the lake was being named after somebody from North Carolina when half the lake is in Virginia.
The lake's impressive dam is also in Virginia.
The dam is on the Roanoke River in Mecklenburg County, Virginia, just a couple miles north of the state line with North Carolina. It was built between 1947 and 1952 by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Back on the lake, there's plenty for people to do.
Lots of campsites. We have over 600 campsites between all of our different areas. A lot of people come here to go fishing. There's one designated swim area. We don't necessarily say, hey, come on up here for swimming purposes. But people do, and we don't tell them they can't. We just tell them, hey, be careful, there's no lifeguards, make sure that you're safe.
For those looking to escape their busy lifestyles for a relaxing day on the water, Carr Lake is definitely the place for you. Reporting for Carolina Week from Vance County, I'm Christian Phillips. All right, Eastern or Western? It's one of the longest standing debates in all of North Carolina. Eastern style barbecue sauce has a main ingredient of vinegar. To get a taste of this famous style of barbecue, we ventured to Ayden, North Carolina, just south of Greenville. This week, we're in Ayden, North Carolina, located just south of Greenville, at what many consider to be the capital of barbecue in our state. And while it may be raining, they're still cooking. This is the Skylight Inn. This is one of the most famous barbecue joints in all of North Carolina. Founded in 1947 by Pete Jones. The family still runs the restaurant today, cooking and chopping everything by hand, just as Pete would have back in the 40s.
Yeah, so old school wood cutting board, bring the meat in off the grill, chop it on the wood block, take it apart, chop up the meat. Board starts out flat, just over time, kind of curves out of it.
And people are coming from all over to try their barbecue.
Definitely on an average week, you got a couple thousand people.
And what's the population of Ayden?
Ayden is 5,000. So needless to say, the majority of the people that are coming here don't live in Ayden. Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think Ayden's only 5,000, but in a month, there's more than that comes here. So a lot of people.
Hogs will cook for about 20 to 24 hours before they're chopped. The cooking occurs in a smokehouse out back. And in the eastern part of the state, the sauce is pretty simple.
Yeah, so this area is known for vinegar. We don't over-season our barbecue. A lot of places over-season it, in our opinion. We just lightly season it. Vinegar, salt, pepper, and Texas beef. Just kind of keep it simple so you can taste the wood smell.
And people love it.
Barbecue I've tasted in a while because they cut up the skin into the barbecue. Not a lot of places do that.
And it's that simple formula for good barbecue that has done them just fine for over 76 years and counting. Reporting from Ayden for Carolina Week, I'm Christian Phillips. Well, that looks and tastes amazing. But check this out. Western style barbecue also uses vinegar in its sauce. But for an added kick, enter ketchup? For the other side of the age-old debate, let's go to a legendary barbecue joint cooking up Western style barbecue since 1962. This week, we're in Western North Carolina, just north of Charlotte here in Lexington, at Lexington Barbecue. They've been open since 1962, and in that time have become one of, if not the staples for Western-style barbecue in our state. Working at this legendary barbecue restaurant is not a simple 9-to-5 job.
It takes a lot of practice to learn how to actually pit cook a barbecue. For the shoulders, we throw them on at about 6:30 in the morning, and it takes about 7 or 8 hours.
And what is the difference between their Lexington style and the vinegar-based Eastern style?
It's a thin, mild sauce with a ketchup base, so it's not real overly vinegar that you're going to taste in it. So we want our sauce to penetrate the meat and have the smoky flavor of the meat also.
And there are plenty of people who enjoy their barbecue.
8,000 people a week, something like that maybe.
While the sauces with Lexington and Eastern North Carolina styles are different, one aspect of their cooking remains the same, using wood.
It's authentic. It's the way we've cooked barbecue for, like I said, for over 60 years, and it's a tradition that's been carried on for well over 100 years. So it's important to us to keep that same idea, that same flavor. And there's nothing wrong, I don't think, with the gas or electric or whatever, but the product is not quite the same. You just don't have the smokiness that you would have from wood cooking.
And that cooking tradition is not the only one being kept alive by the restaurant.
And Judy and I have been friends for a little over 50 years now. We're Carolina grads and went to school together, and we meet here once a year when they're visiting here from Texas and have barbecue.
So what does this place mean to you?
Home. Whenever I come back to North Carolina, I don't care how far I have to travel, I sooner or later make it here.
Special traditions like that started when Wayne Monk opened his restaurant in 1962 and have been growing here in Lexington ever since. Well, since we've made you hungry, now's the perfect time to grab a snack. When we come back, Join us as we head down east to a popular eatery at the beach and we explore a North Carolina landmark. Welcome back to this Covering Carolina special. There are few things that would get hundreds of people daily to leave the beach during the height of summer, let alone stand in a parking lot, all anxiously waiting to hear their name called from the pickup window. But, well, it's also true that few places have a shrimp burger as famous as the Big Oak Drive-In, located in Salter Path.
Located just a stone's throw away from the Bogue Sound on one side and the Atlantic Ocean on the other, the Big Oak Drive-In and Barbecue is a Salter Path tradition. And everyone here is after one thing, their world-famous shrimp burger.
Even those here for the first time know there's only one item they have to get.
I got a shrimp burger, a large one, and she got the small.
And they come from all over to get them.
Yes, sir. Where are you coming from?
I'm down in Florida. I'm down in Palm Coast, Florida.
The Shrimp Burger, Big Oak's combination of lightly battered shrimp on a steamed bun. You can customize what comes on it, but most people agree there's only one way to get it made.
About 80% of the people get them all the way.
That's the right way to do it?
Oh yeah, that's the only way to do it. That's what we're known for.
That's the way I like it. So. I would say that's the only way to do it.
All the way adds ketchup, coleslaw, and tartar sauce. And lots of people are ordering shrimp burgers.
We go through a lot of shrimp. I mean, we're talking sometimes 1,000 pounds a week. Usually during the week, you have about 3,500 people a week just visit the site.
Big Oak is unique as it's a drive-in. No tables or reservations here. You just drive up, park your car, order at the window, and wait to hear your name. And you never know what you might see while you're here.
It's not noise. You hear about that often around here?
Oh, you hear that every day, all the time. Yeah, there's a military base right over there at Cherry Point.
Despite the success of Big Oak, it's not lost on owner and manager Jamie Godfrey how lucky he is to be working, doing what he loves.
It means the world because, you know, finally I got my family working for me, you know, working with me. And it's, you know, it just, you know, I've been here so long, you know, it's mine, you know, and it's, you know, I treat it like I treat, this is my home, you know, and I try to make all my customers feel the same way. So, come on in, you know, my door's open.
And as long as they're still selling their shrimp burger, customers will continue to flood the parking lot of this tiny drive-in for years to come. Reporting from Salter Path, I'm Christian Phillips. Well, there truly is nothing better during a day at the beach than having one of those shrimp burgers, so definitely worth it if you haven't had one yet. We've made it all the way down to the east. Our final stop is a lighthouse on the Crystal Coast that's been saving ships from the dangerous shoals off the shore since 1859. At over 160 years old, this lighthouse has become an enduring symbol of our state.
Built before the Civil War, this lighthouse behind me has kept a watchful eye over the dangerous shoals in the Atlantic Ocean just a few feet away. But now, the Cape Lookout Lighthouse is in need of our help, with a major project full of renovations set to get underway in just a few months.
This is the Cape Lookout Lighthouse, located just off Harkers Island, southeast of Morehead City. Getting to the lighthouse requires your own boat or taking a ferry. No bridges or roads out here. Construction of the lighthouse was completed in 1859. Because while these waves may look calm, the water around the lighthouse has been lethal for passing ships.
It's hundreds of ships wrecked out here for many, many years. Going back to our first written accounts of this area, in fact, we have a really early map. It dates back to the 1500s called the White Debris map, where they actually labeled the Cape Lookout Shoals as Promontorium Tremendum, which is roughly translated to the Horrible Headland. Essentially, the first written records we have of this place warn of the dangers of it, and we know that ships have been wrecking here for hundreds of years.
And at over 160 years old, the lighthouse is due for some work.
You know, we're doing all kinds of stuff. The whole top portion of the lighthouse is going to get disassembled and sent off to a foundry to be recast with new metal. Pretty much every single piece of the lighthouse is going to get touched in one way or another.
And people seem to agree, whether visitors or locals, that this is money for a good cause.
Oh, we loved it there. Oh yes, it's important to keep it. I believe it is. I believe it's tax money well spent.
Most islanders don't go a day without riding to the end of the island to look at that lighthouse.
It means that much to them.
I can see people thinking that it's very expensive to maintain an old lighthouse. A lot of people will think that this lighthouse doesn't get used as a navigational aid, but it's actually still classified as a navigational aid by the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard maintains that light up at the top, and for vessels that aren't equipped with GPS, the lighthouse is actually potentially the thing that will bring them back to land if they get lost.
Even though the lighthouse is under repair, the area around it, including the keeper's quarters and beaches, will all remain open. Repairs are expected to take up to 2027. Reporting from Carteret County, I'm Christian Phillips. What an incredible legacy. That concludes our journey around the great state of North Carolina. This special only covered a mere fraction of the incredible places to visit across our state. So no matter where you are, if you're ever looking for something to do or want to take a day trip, remember, something great is never far away. Happy travels, and we'll see you next time.